Okay, welcome back. Before we launch into Lab 4, let's take a look at the results of what we just did. So if you take a look in here, we can see that under Monitor vSphere High Availability in the summary page, this gives us some information about our cluster. We can see that currently our master is esx1.vmeduct.com. We can see that the hosts that are connected to the master are one, and that would be our ESXi2, okay, will be the slave. We can see that we have currently two virtual machines. One is protected and one is unprotected. So the protected virtual machine is going to be the ESXi VM01, which currently has the tools installed. We can see that 02 is not running the tools, so therefore it is not connected. We'd have to install the VMware tools for that to work. And then let's come down here. Let's click on the heartbeat. And we can see that we are heartbeating currently to two different data stores, just as we had selected in the configuration, the iSCSI LUN 0, and that's host mounting to the data store 2 and NFS volume 1. There's a host mounting to that as well. And then under configuration issues, we can see that we do not have any configuration issues, so that's all good. Okay, so here we are in lab 4 of, or excuse me, part 4 of lab 19 using vSphere high availability. We're going to test the VMware high availability functionality. So we'll do a migration and change only the compute resource, and we're going to migrate it to our only other host. We don't have a lot of choices here, so we're going to migrate it to ESXi2. And we'll see that it will no longer be running on ESXi1, but it will now be running on ESXi2. And then we'll shut down ESXi2 and see what happens from there. So we'll have a look at that. All right. So let's go ahead and right click on that student VM01, and we're going to manually migrate. So let's say that we knew that the host that's currently supporting this virtual machine, where it's currently running ESXi1, let's say that we knew we were going to be taking it offline to do an update, something like that. So we might want to manually migrate the virtual machine workloads from there. So we can go ahead and select or right click on student VM01 and then select migrate. And they make it pretty easy. We're just going to change, now in this case we're changing the compute resource only. All right. Notice that we can change the storage only, or we can change both. So we'll hit the next button here. And then selecting the compute resource, we don't have a whole lot of choices. So in this case, we'll go ahead and select ESXi2. Notice you can select by host, we can select by cluster, resource pool. We have different options for that. So we'll select that, and the compatibility checks succeed. Hit the next. And then on our vMotion priority, or excuse me, on our network, VM network page, we can see that we're going to just go ahead and leave it at VM network. I'm not even sure we have any choices in there. So we'll leave it on that VM network, meaning we're not changing the network, just to be clear here. Hit the next button here. So it's staying on the same network. And now we want to set the priority. So schedule vMotion with high priority, so we don't want it to have to wait. I want to see the results. Hit the next. Get a little overview. So basically the virtual machine VM01 in lab cluster is going to be migrated to ESXi2. It's going to stay on the same VM network, and it gets a vMotion priority, a high priority. We'll go ahead and click Finish. And then we should see the tab Task Running over here. Once it completes, we'll go ahead and select ESXi2. And from there, we can go ahead and select the related objects. And we can see on the virtual machines, we are now running the student VM01 workload, and it is still powered on. And if I were to select that, you can see that it's currently running and still got VMware tools, so no issues on that. Oops, went the wrong way with that, excuse me. And ESXi2, and there's our related objects. Sorry about that. So now what happens when we power down ESXi2? What's going to be the response? Let's say that an admin comes in and powers it down, not realizing that there was going to be an issue, that there was a workload that had been shifted to that. So we'll do a power down on that. So we right click, select power, and then we'll do a shutdown. Okay. We get a little pop-up message saying what's the reason, and the reason is that we are going to be testing VMware VMwort, there you go, high availability, and click the OK. And here's our virtual machine, still powered on. Okay. If we take a look here, we can see that ESXi1, ESXi2, and ultimately that should shut down. And there it is. Let's take a look here. We can see that ESXi2 is in fact down, and student VM01 is in fact still running. We can see that it did get shut down, ESXi2. Let's take a look and see what happened to student VM01. If I select ESXi1, we can see that if we go to the summary, that it is currently running, and if we go to our related objects, we can see that student VM01 is in fact running on ESXi1. So our high availability did work. We had a successful failover from ESXi2 to ESXi1, and everything looks really good. Last little item here, we can take a look at vSphere high availability resource usage. And if we select the monitor tab, and then we can go ahead and select the resource reservation tab, and we can take a look and see current total reservation capacity is 2.78 gigahertz, used reservation is 1.36 gigahertz, available reservation is 1.42 gigahertz. So that's currently what's available on there. All right, and that's it for this lab, and thanks for watching.